What is up, everybody? I just want to roll a quick disclaimer before we get this video rolling. So I am not by any stretch a professional engine builder. I have put a handful of engines together myself for my own projects, and once again, this is a motor for me, for my project, for the Twinnebago. I do have sponsors. I have people on board helping me out. I'm not affiliated with any of those companies. I do appreciate their help, but I want to let you know that I do not represent them. So if I'm doing stuff here, stuff you feel is wrong, you're some professional, wonderful engine builder that wants to sit and type angrily and talk a bunch of shit about things I'm doing, or the company's involved with me, that is not the case, and you are probably on the wrong channel. But also, duly note, if you want to build your own stuff and you're taking things apart and you blow your own motor up, that is not my fault either. Happy engine building, boys. What is up, everybody? My name is Dane Thompson. Welcome back to another episode of BurnDown. So, if you follow along on the channel, you know that I'm working on a twin turbo Winnebago. And if you don't follow along on the channel, now you know that I'm working on a twin turbo Winnebago that I call the Twinnebago. So, I got the heart back not too long ago. I had him short block it. I forgot to tell him that I already had a cam and some other things for it. So he actually put a truck cam and everything in it. So I technically have a short block, but I have to swap the cam out of that, put some heads on it. We got to slap it all together so we can get it ready to throw it in the Twinnebago. And I figured it would probably be a crime and I would hear about it forever if I didn't bring you guys along when I put stuff together. I also want to showcase and show the sweet Molly pistons that are in there, just so everybody knows that I am running those, I'm using those. Molly is a sponsor for the Twinnebago build, so big shout out to Molly for being a part of this, along with everybody else. I've got a whole list of them. We'll line them out. They're in the description. But as far as the cam goes, because speaking of cam and having a cam swap it, I have, oh, it's not over there, it's back over there, a Crowler custom grind, and it is called the Twin Turbo Winnebago of Death Grind. I will put a link up to it if you guys want to go check it out, purchase one, maybe you got something. Tow rig truck. It's basically a truck style cam. It is a low ramp, low lift profile, so it's really easy on the valve train. I want something that I can just put in there and hum on down the road, not worry about valve train issues. In a race car application, obviously you want much more lift, and there are a bunch of other things you look for in a cam versus what's going in the Twinnebago. But for an application like that, a truck daily driver, a low boost turbo application such as this thing, you're not getting all rowdy, you don't want valve train issues, maybe a good one to look at. Plus, we're going to find out what that thing will actually do once I swap it in and we motor on down the road with the Twinnebago. So, we will put this thing on a borrowed engine stand that I have here for my buddy Jim. So, we'll wheel this out there. I even had to borrow the bolts because I don't have these long bolts. So, yeah, let's wheel the block out, throw it up on there, lift it, stick it on the stand, and then we can kind of get a plan of attack to assemble this bad boy. And by the way, I know some of you are like, oh, you know, you're sponsored, how life is great, everything's cheap. Well, the sponsors are wonderful. Do not get me wrong by any stretch. I appreciate every bit of anything that I was given for this, down to just the help in the used pieces and parts, like KP Fab and Tune has donated stuff. I mean, I've had a lot of help from a lot of people, but I still have to come out of pocket on a lot of stuff, and you know, times are tough, things are tight, just like everybody else. So I'm gonna look around. We'll reuse some gaskets and another, you know, some other sorts of things, and save a buck. We'll clean up some hardware, things like that. I mean, this isn't one of those builds where everything's fresh and new. I've got the bucket of LS shame right here. That is from multiple motors I've taken apart over the last couple of years or however long it's been. We're gonna rubber through there. We'll clean up bolts. We'll organize it. We will slap something together. So this isn't like every single piece and part is brand new and sponsored, although I am very fortunate that I did get some help on this build and that people want to be a part of it, essentially, because I didn't really reach out to too many people, and you know, they jumped on board and they're helping me basically live my redneck dream of having a twin turbo Winnebago. So with that being said, thank you very much for all the help. I am not by any stretch, you know, denouncing, oh, you know, I could whatever do this on my own. It's just not the end of the world. I'm not Cletus McFarland. I'm not a big channel. I'm still pitching in my cash. I don't have people throwing all kinds of stuff at me. I'm getting a portion of it, which is more than helpful, especially for the size channel that I have. So I'm very grateful. But again, we're not big time over here. We're still little, so we just need to do what we can. So the extra parts definitely help, but we are still rummaging. I've got stuff down here that we will be going through. As a matter of fact, I think that is my water pump of all things. So we're not super fancy. We're not getting fancy yet. Maybe one day, but not right now. No need for it. Anyway, let's get cracking. Enough talking. Coming through. Coming through. All right, so here is a look at the short block. Again, he cleaned all this stuff up and then put a truck cam in it. So I think this is used chain, used stuff. He just slapped it together for me. We'll take all this out and replace it with the Crowler stuff. And then actually I need to give this back to my buddy Jim because he gave me the core for the Crowler cam. It's a regrind. Here are the Molly pistons. So it looks like this is all sealed up. New seal in here, new gasket, so we don't have to worry about that. Tell everybody, if you're running a motor, even a used one, it's very important that you change this and this, even if it's just a junkyard throwaway build motor or whatever, because if you put your whole motor in your transmission and this damn thing leaks, because I've had one actually do it, you're not going to be happy when you got to pull everything back out. All right, I started rummaging through these to kind of, get an assessment, get some bolts to lift the motor up. And I realized before I get into all of this stuff, real quick, we need to soak the lifters and let those things sit because we're gonna slam those dudes home. So I'm gonna show you real quick. Let's grab, this is a plug here, by the way, the Molly lifters. I'll show you guys the part numbers we are using. And actually these things seem like they're already ready to rock and roll, but here's the part number that I'm using on the Twinnebago. And the box actually is kind of oiled up. I don't know if these come ready to rock and roll. Wow, look at that, they're all individual. It already looks like they're pretty lubricated, to say the truth. But for safe measures, what I'm gonna do is I got myself a baggie. I'm gonna throw each one of these bad boys in here, and we'll dump some motor oil to coat them all, zip it up, and they can just hang out in there while we do the rest of the dance over here. And again, these actually look like they're pretty well ready to rock and roll. If I can pull one of these things out of here. Yeah, they already look like they have some sort of lubrication in them, but I don't think it hurts to soak them. So that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, here's the part number. This is what we're rock and roll putting in, and we'll keep on rolling. All right, so these dudes are all having a pool party over here, and I'm pretty sure if you can't leave this in a bag for an extended period of time, I think it eats through. Hopefully we get the deal done before this thing starts leaking oil on the table. As a matter of fact, we'll just do this just in case these boys decide to make a mess. So dig out some hardware, throw the plate on, put the bad boy here, and bring you guys back. All right, so here she is in her new home, hopefully just temporarily. First thing I'd like to do is let me show you the trick with these guys. So let me pick one of these. We'll need a long bolt because this should be a long bolt motor. It's an earlier, let me see where the casting on this is. Yeah, it's a 6.4. This should be, I believe, an earlier long bolt motor. I'll score this a few times, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna run it down and then out, and then blow each one of these holes out. The reason that is important is because you can get a false torque reading, and you can also snap bolts off because they basically just get wedged in there. There's crust in there. It's not good, and it's not a happy day when you do that. So we're gonna clean each and every hole out, including these little top guys here, even though these really aren't as important, but we'll do that too. Mainly it's the big dogs that you really need to make sure are clean. So all right, we got a pretty good looking bolt here now. I even cleaned up the shank a bit, just so nothing gets left behind when we do this. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna score. I've seen, you can just do one side or two side. I like to do at least I like to do more than one, so I'll score it here and then flip it around, score it. Like 2 is fine, maybe 3. Let's get 3 on here, and that'll just give us a lot of cutting area. So let me score it real quick and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so now what you have is you have essentially kind of like a tap, and it's basically just scored on a few sides. Ow, it's still hot. That's it. So now we take our new hotness right here, and I'm gonna run it down in every single hole, bottom it out, pull it out, we'll blow it out, and we'll do that every single hole. And this should clean any of this crud out that's in the threads. This thing seems pretty clean. I don't know if he does this. Maybe there's a little junk in there. I don't know if they do this or not for me. That one's pretty easy, but it feels like maybe there's a little bit of crud in there. But let's see. Yeah, we'll blow it out. But yeah, see, there's a little bit of guck on there. We'll clean this off. We'll do that every single hole. Alright, just in case you guys were wondering, see those where we scored it? See all the junk that is in there? That's why I put multiple scores too, because if you just did one to fill up, I mean, I guess you could do like 4 or whatever, but anyway, it fills up. I clean this out, and then what I'll do is we'll blow these out, and then we'll run it back through until this guy goes in. Each one bottoms out, and it just does it nice and easy. Then you know you've got clean threads, and you're ready to rock and roll with your new bolts, or your cleaned up used ones, because everybody knows these things don't really go bad. Obviously, if you score one like this, do not put that back in. Don't take one of your good head bolts, do them all, and then use this. And if you do, you're kind of an idiot. Don't do that. Don't use this in your final assembly, please. Alright, so next step is to get rid of this bad boy and then put the new cam in. And it's funny, I don't think I remember seeing a gear like that. Typically they look like this guy, and then I have another new one over there and it looks similar to that. So I don't know if this is aftermarket or what this guy is. Huh, maybe I paid for a new timing chain set and I didn't even know it, because that doesn't look new. Maybe that guy is, I have no idea. Anyway, we'll take all this off. We'll just throw it in the parts bin. So let me rip this out of here. We'll take the chain off, pull the cam out gently, and then we'll slam the new Crower in. Yeah, this dude did not want to come off. So just remember that for the next motor we stick it in. Alright, so here is the stock truck cam. You gotta be careful when you're pulling it out. You're gonna knock the cam bearings around. I can look at these cam bearings because they're new. Typically you don't, because that will definitely ruin your motor. Alright, I cracked the box open because I don't want to do all this one-handed. But this is what your order looks like when you get your cam. Oh, you got some sweet stickers in here. Crower Racing Products. And then I believe this is the cam spec sheet. So yeah, there we go. Comes with the cam spec sheet. So ready to rock and roll. Alright, we got this dude in, got the little cam plate back on. Let me come over here. Once again, Molly, you guys are awesome, and they supplied a new the old one-handed trick. Ta-da! Look at that. Oh, they even supplied a new one of these bad boys, but I'm not going to get that crazy. Look at that thing. Ooh, so pretty. Yeah, you'd have to press this off and on. I didn't even know I had that. That's pretty slick. Anyway. So, we got this dude, though. See, this looks more like that guy here. So, this thing, I don't know. I don't know what the deal with that bad boy is. But anyway, we got this dude, when you slam on, we got the new chain. So we have our little dots lined up here and here. If we throw this on here, this is number 1 is at the top. We're under the deck just a hair because this is a 6/100 rod, not a 6/125. You guys can say what you want, but that's what I got. I got Gen 4 rods and aftermarket pistons. So you'll see the dot comes around one time. This is 180 out. Boys back up here. So this time we come around, you'll see dudes start coming back up. Oh, here he comes. And then here comes our dots. See, getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. Bing, bam. There we go. TDC number 1. Should be good to go. All right, now that we have all of that installed, this dude is rock and roll. I had to put these boys over here in a bucket because my bag was already letting go. So these dudes have been swimming around in some oil. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go pick the best set of lifter trays I can find, because I have a few sets. We'll find the ones that are the best set that I got, and then we'll slam these dudes in here. And what I'll do is you take it out of the oil, and then I'll put a little bit of Molly just on the tip of each lifter. I know we put it on the cam in there already, but it's just cheap insurance for point of contact. So I got the first set of guys in here, put a little bit of assembly lube on the end, but all of these little dudes in here are dry, so I'm going to go ahead and put some assembly lube in each little hole. Barrel, I guess you could call it. I guess you could put it around these guys, but I'll rub some around in there, make sure we're good to go. Maybe a little on the outside, and then we'll slide them on home. All right, well, I am gonna wrap it up for today. We pretty much have a short block ready for the Twinnebago. We'll add the rest of the items here shortly, and I'll keep you guys covered when we do those. As far as thank yous are concerned, big shout out to Molly USA for jumping on board and providing some of the parts that you guys saw me install today. Namely, I've got the lifters down, we've got the timing chain gear set done in there and torqued. Plus, we've got some badass forged pistons from Molly. And last but not least, big shout out and thank you to Crower Performance, Crower Cams. In general, they make all kinds of cool stuff, but I have a custom twin turbo Winnebago Death Grind cam. It is a regrind cam that we're going to be running on the Twinnebago, which we slapped in here today. That thing is rock and roll and ready to go. So that is it. Big shout out and thank you to the companies on board helping me make this dream a reality. And until I see you guys next time, remember, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.